Guys, what is Toto Wolff doing? What is this man on? What is he doing to Kimi Antonelli's career? Over and over the course of the weekend, we heard about how underwhelming Toto Wolff found Mercedes' performance over the weekend, and more specifically about Kimi Antonelli, because George Russell had a very decent result at the Monza Italia Grand Prix. But Kimi Antonelli is struggling and has been struggling for a very long time. And I feel like the last thing that we need to have is the team principal, the man who literally sold us Kimi Antonelli to the world and told us about how amazing he is and how he's going to be the next Max Verstappen, which we'll get to, by the way. What on earth is Toto Wolff doing to this man's mental health? I bring up mental health because we can clearly see that this is a driver who, first of all, is 19 years old. He's a very young driver. He's a rookie and he is struggling when it comes to the performances in that car. We've just finished the European leg in Formula One and it's been a disaster for Kimi Antonelli. He's not had the rub of the green, if you will. The guy is struggling in the Mercedes, okay? But we should not be killing this guy. Toto Wolff is absolutely hanging him out to dry. He was saying things like, shouldn't be behind a Pierre Gasly, shouldn't be losing time behind Pierre Gasly as he was struggling to get down the field. The situation that happened in Zandvoort when he crashed into Charles Leclerc. Remember Monza last year in the practice, he crashed into the barrier at Parabolica. So this is a man who's gone through a few things. He's having to learn very, very quickly. He's having to learn quick on how to become a Mercedes driver, how to become a top elite driver in Formula One. And yet what we are seeing before our very eyes is the team principal, the man the guy hung his hat on Kimi Antonelli all of last year, talked about him being the next big thing. This is the prodigy. This is the one that we have to watch out for. And so everybody had their eyes glued to the screens to see what can we expect from Kimi Antonelli. But now lately, we are hearing more sort of negative talk after negative talk from Toto Wolff. And Toto Wolff, what we can clearly see is he's not happy. He's hacked off. He wishes that he had, he might have had a Max Verstappen in that car because of what happened with Lewis Hamilton, him leaving last season or at the end of last season to go to Ferrari. And I feel like he's changed his tune, Toto Wolff. And this is not good for Kimi Antonelli. Kimi Antonelli needs to be lifted up. He needs to be encouraged. He needs to be nurtured. And it seemed like we were probably getting too much nurturing from Toto Wolff before he'd even got in a seat, Kimi Antonelli. And maybe there's a case of he's feeling a bit of guilt in terms of like, maybe I should actually pump the brakes a little bit and not give him the super love and like father figure kind of style and cuddling him and whatever else, right? Maybe that's not what he was after. But you've gone the complete opposite way. You've gone the complete opposite way. I'm so worried for Kimi Antonelli. I'm worried for him in 2026 because what happens if it doesn't go well in 2026? What if this form that we've seen in the European leg in the Formula One calendar in 2025 happens also in 2026? He's 19 years of age. He jumped into the seat at 18 years of age. He was 17 last year when he had that crash in Monza in the practice session last season. And there's a lot of people who, the other rookies, they've had some laps under their belt. And don't get me wrong, Kimi Antonelli has got some experience, but it pales probably in comparison to the other drivers. What if Kimi Antonelli came and joined Williams instead? And Mercedes actually used their brains and brought Carlos Sainz to Mercedes and then put Kimi Antonelli in Williams, just like what they did with George Russell. Because George Russell was allowed to learn and make mistake after mistake without being in the spotlight. And if memory serves me correct, I don't remember George Russell really being terrible at Williams. I don't remember it at all. There might have been one or two occasions, but he'd been there how many years? Was it like 4 years at Williams? And I can barely remember any mistakes from him. He did well in a Williams that was so bad. And the Williams is so much more better now, and that would have been perfect for Kimi Antonelli to slide right in, learn his trade. But unfortunately, Kimi Antonelli's having to learn his trade under the spotlight because he's at Mercedes. I don't feel sorry for him in that sense, because listen, if you're going to try and be a Formula One driver and you want to be the best in the business, your opportunity comes. You've got to learn how to show up. You got to show up. And I'm with it. I'm not saying absolve criticism for Kimi Antonelli. That's not what I'm saying. But what Toto Wolff is doing, he's damaging the kid. He's a kid. He's damaging him. And it doesn't help that last season, this season, we are hearing flirtatious stuff with Max Verstappen. Not literally. But Toto Wolff is so obsessed with Max Verstappen. Even when referring to Kimi Antonelli, he mentions the fact even Verstappen in his first year had mistakes. Even Verstappen once upon a time was like this and then became that. And he keeps trying to sort of point Kimi in that direction of, even if it's not going great, guess what? You can still become the best. You can still become world champion. You can still be elite. But Toto, enough is enough. You've got to stop this. You've got to stop killing your driver. Killing a rookie driver at that. Underwhelming. He kept repeating it post-race. Underwhelming. Talking about how he shouldn't be behind Gasly, he shouldn't be losing time to Gasly. Okay, fine, fair enough. But my goodness, publicly like this? And what we can see from Antonelli is when he's had an accident, when he's had an issue or a mistake, he doesn't recover straight away. And that will come with time. He will get better at repairing mistakes. He will get better at that. But you've got to let the man learn. You've got to let him, learn without actually being stamped on. Every mistake Kimi Antonelli's making, he's getting trampled on. And it's not on. It's not fair. Why would we do this to Kimi? Why are we doing this to him? It's absolutely not fair. The leadership from Toto Wolff is being shambolic this season. Let's have it right. And it's probably been shambolic for a long time. The Mercedes fans will know more so in depth because they saw the writing on the wall. 2021 was the beginning of the end of this Mercedes era that was so dominant in Formula One. But the fact that, you lose Lewis Hamilton under your wing, something has to be said about that. The fact that George Russell's contract at the time of recording still hasn't been agreed yet or signed. What is holding that up? Why would you be wasting time trying to get George Russell over the line? You get it done. He's done phenomenal for Mercedes since he's been there. You sign him that new contract, 2, 3, 4, 5-year contract. The rumors are maybe it's a 1+1 or the money's not enough. Mercedes, sort it out. And I'm talking to Toto Wolff because he's the head of that at the end of the day. So the leadership has been diabolical anyway. And now the idea of trying to get Max Verstappen into that Mercedes, as well as the situation now, because even rumoring yourself with Max Verstappen is just not on. It's just not cool. It's not professional. It's not good. But now Kimi Antonelli, I want to bring this problem up in this video. The fact that Kimi Antonelli is getting beaten up by his own team principal. What kind of confidence will that be? And I would hate to see Kimi Antonelli leave Formula One because he just couldn't live up to it. We've seen so many drivers in the past. I think of Nick de Vries. I think of Marcus Ericsson. I think of so many talented drivers that were coming up that didn't really live up to how big they were going to be. They didn't live up to the billing. But this cannot help drivers like Kimi Antonelli. It can't help. Yeah, Toto's leadership has been shambolic. Let's just have it right. His leadership has been shambolic. And I think it's only right that we call it out and say, look, Toto, enough is enough. Support your driver. Get behind Kimi Antonelli. Make him feel loved again. Make him feel wanted. Make him, confident again. Make him confident again so that he can actually race and feel confident racing. Because these are all knock-on effects, one after the other. And this is your doing, Toto Wolff. You've got to get behind Kimi Antonelli. Support the bloke. He's a kid, for goodness sake. Support him and make sure that he is ready to go again in the next couple of races when we move across towards Asia. When we get to the Americas, when we get to South America, we get to the Far East. We need to see Kimi Antonelli finish the season strong. And Toto Wolff, that is going to be partly down to you. What's not going to help is the bashing you're giving him online in the media for all of us to see. Clearly, Kimi Antonelli needs an arm around him, and you're not giving him that at this moment in time. And the reason I'm more annoyed about this is simply because Toto Wolff is the one person who was giving it to Kimi Antonelli last season and the beginning of this season. You remember the fact that he got a sprint pole. You remember the fact that he even got on the podium. Those were some happy times. So be with him in the happy, yes, and be with him in the mud. This is unbelievable from Toto Wolff, what I'm seeing before my very eyes. He's got to be better at leading this team and leading his drivers. And that includes George Russell as well. Enough is enough, Toto. Stop killing Kimi Antonelli in the media. Get behind your driver and support him. And hopefully we'll see Kimi Antonelli become, you know, so much more dominant than what he has been. Less mistakes and confident. We need a confident Kimi Antonelli. If he's confident, my God, the world is his oyster. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. YouTube thinks you will like this video over here. Am I being harsh on Toto Wolff? Because I think as a leader, he has to set the example, set the precedent. And if your driver is not happy and he's not got that joy anymore, you've got to help revitalize it. Stop bashing him online and get your head out of this. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Until next time, lights out.